Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy 44th episode.
And we're back. Sorry we missed last week. Or I guess a couple weeks ago. Not really sure. Confused about the scheduling, but regardless, we're back.
Yeah. I think we didn't skip last week. We were here last week.
Okay.
But
well,
it feels like a while.
I get confused. I feel like we haven't recorded in literally ages.
I know. Yeah, it's been a busy week.
It truly has been. First things first, though.
Yes.
First and freaking foremost, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, please. And thank you.
Of course.
Just had to get that out there.
Yeah. And we have a few shout outs to make this week too.
Shout out.
So last weekend we were at our friend Evan's wedding, so we just need to shout him out.
Yes.
Say congratulations to Evan.
Yes. It was so fun.
It was amazing, and it was like so fun to catch up with like all of our friends.
Yes, from college. It was like the first time like I feel like we've all been together like that to like party since college, and it was so fun.
Yeah, it was a great time. And I do have a few other shout outs to make too.
Shout out.
So the next one would be Callie. My best friend Callie, she got engaged today on 12/12.
Oh my gosh,
the lucky 12/12.
We love that. Shout out to Callie.
Yeah. So congratulations to her too.
All these weddings.
It's wedding season.
Ew,
apparently.
We're getting old, guys. We're disgusting.
I
Marriage,
know. Right?
We're officially old.
Yeah, we're too old for this. But anyways. Okay. So congrats to them. So I do have another shout out, but do you have anything else before I get to this last one? Any other intros?
I'm trying to think. I don't really know. No, I have nothing. Oh, I do actually have a life update I forgot about.
Okay.
I, first of all, got a raise at my job that I'm at now. Yay.
Oh,
round of applause.
Yay.
But your girl has a job interview with somebody else on Tuesday. And I'm excited.
Oh, secret. Hopefully nobody listens to this from your job.
I kind of hope they do.
Yeah, really?
No. Oh, you mean for my current job? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, if they do.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's just my life update, you know?
Yeah,
changes.
Exactly.
We love to see it.
Okay, so this last shout out I have is to our friend Rachel. And she actually gave me an idea for my story this week.
Are you serious?
So that's why I had to save it
for last.
You really
took her... Okay, so I was there. Hold on. We need to preface this situation, Savannah. So last weekend, while we were at the wedding, Rachel and Savannah hadn't seen each other in like a while. And Rachel loves the podcast. Shout out to Rachel. And Rachel was like, Savannah, can I give you a topic? And I was like, no, tell me a topic. And she never told me a topic.
Oh, she didn't?
No. So
Yikes. Okay.
I just thought that was funny, but I'm excited to know what it is finally.
Okay, well, I'm going to disappoint you right now because I actually didn't even use her topic.
Oh, wow.
But I did something adjacent to hers.
Okay.
So she actually told me I should look up Irish little people. So like,
okay,
I guess related to leprechauns.
Okay.
But not actually that. But I tried finding stuff on that, but I don't know if I just looked up the wrong thing, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't really find anything. So Rachel, you might need to text me and tell me what to actually search. But anyways, I did find something that is similar. Not from Ireland, but from different, like, right by there. So Scotland and England area. And they are the Hobgoblins.
The Hobgoblins! Oh my gosh, I actually know about the Hobgoblins.
Yes. See, I told you before this, I was like, you're gonna laugh at the name of these.
Yeah, actually, I call my friends Hobgoblins.
Yeah, see? Okay, so I guess we're gonna go right into my story if you don't have anything else.
But... I don't. I'm super excited to learn more about the Hobgoblins.
Okay, so first of all, hob, you know, the prefix of this word, means like elf, or in other like there's different meanings of the word, but it could also mean like hearth, like household. So it's basically like a household fairy.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so the earliest use of the word can be traced back to 1530.
Oh, wow.
So a long time ago, but it was probably used like a while before that too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like definitely then, but probably before too.
Yeah.
And they're household spirits, but some live in the forest too. They like in the olden days, like they used to be considered helpful, like in the house. But with the spread of Christianity, you know, things changed, as we find with a lot of things. The spread of Christianity sort of changes people's ideas of things, but they started to be considered more mischievous after that. So they sort of like transformed over time. And they became like uglier and smellier over
Oh,
time too, with culture changing.
smellier. That's no good.
I know, no, literally, like the Christianity just came by and they're like, yeah, these guys, like, they're the worst. They,
Yeah, they're stinky.
yeah, right. They're ugly. It's
Ugly and
like they
stinky.
probably, yeah, they probably weren't when they first became a thing, but
Yeah.
you know, people's ideas of it changed. Okay, so they're described as like small, hairy little men
Ew.
with like ragged clothes or no clothes.
Oh, okay.
So just imagine like a tiny little, like a miniature person,
Mm-hmm.
but like a man. Like
Okay.
they're not girls.
I'm picturing kind of like a troll under a bridge.
Right, yeah, that's kind of what it is.
That's the vibes I get.
But with like ragged clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're found in homes like doing odd jobs around the house, like while the
What?
family's asleep.
Like
Yeah.
good jobs? Like they're gonna like sweep my floors?
Yeah.
Oh well, then I'm welcoming the hobgoblins.
Yeah, see, you know how I said how Christianity sort of changed the idea of things, like this is what they were before that.
Mm-hmm.
They started off as these like little guys who would just come around and like do the dusting and the ironing,
Mm-hmm.
um and they would expect food in return.
Okay. I mean that's fair.
Yeah, see, people would like leave food out for them. Some people would leave food like on the back step
It's
for
like
them.
Santa. I also
Yeah,
think that it's very
honestly.
interesting that you said like this is like kind of like the 1500s and like the
Yeah.
men, they had little men that would go around and clean.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because, you know, I feel like
I
back then they
know.
were like the women clean.
I think honestly, like I don't know if this is, it's probably not controversial, but
Yeah.
I think Christianity came by and like made things more misogynistic,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
you know, that makes more sense. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's part of the reason that they turned ugly and
Yeah. I mean, that's a
smelly
good
and stuff.
point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. I didn't really think about that before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people would leave food out for them, and one of their favorite foods is cream. Like just a bowl of cream.
Okay. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that's really
like
crazy.
get like some Starbucks sweet cream foam, just set it out for them.
Honestly, I would love that. Also, can I just
See?
interrupt your story for 5 seconds to
Mm-hmm.
tell you guys that I locked both of our assistants, Poe and Juju, out of this recording because they are being bad. And Poe is so angry right now that he's pulling my rug completely under my door.
Oh my
So if you hear
gosh.
rustling in the back, it's just Poe pulling the rug under my door because he's mad that he's not in here.
Okay. Yeah.
So, anyways,
Okay. Okay. All right. They're honestly being hobgoblins right now.
honestly, I have
Um,
two hobgoblins in my house as we speak.
yeah, because I'm gonna get into the part where they're more practical jokers, actually.
Literally. Wow.
So they do like household stuff, like I said, but they also like doing practical jokes. And they have been known to shapeshift too, a
Oh.
little bit.
Ooh.
And they're easily annoyed. Me,
Me.
Right? And when they're like teased or mistreated, or like even if you like don't put food out for them, they can like cause trouble for you, and they'll turn into this other creature called a bogart.
Oh, what
Mm-hmm.
is that?
I'll get into it more in a little bit,
Okay.
but they are like mischievous, and they can be like scary and dangerous too.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately. But back to the hobgoblins. If you give them clothing, they will leave forever.
Okay. Like, so do we want them gone or do we want them there?
I guess it really depends. Like,
Okay.
they do chores for you, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I would like a hobgoblin to do my chores. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Like, if you want a little person in your house, then yeah,
Then
do
just
it.
don't get him
But,
close. Heard.
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's actually like nobody knows the reason why that makes them leave forever.
Yeah.
Like, it's unknown if they're just offended by the gift, or like if they're too proud to work in new clothes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because
Yeah.
they have ragged clothes or
Mm-hmm.
none. So they're like, well, you don't need to give me this, bye.
Yeah.
Um, or maybe they just leave because they're like, well, now I have clothes, I can leave.
Exactly. They're like, yeah, that's what I came here for.
Mm-hmm.
Actually.
Yeah. And they are also associated with farms, mostly dairies, and
Oh.
I think that has to do with them liking cream.
Oh my God, please. Is
You
this just
know,
old Greg?
honestly, that's true. I didn't think about that, but he's not
Phase.
tiny, so.
Oh, true.
Okay, so there's also this other little creature that's pretty much the same thing, but they're called brownies.
Brownies. That's a cute name. I was in
Mm-hmm.
the brownies in Girl
Me too.
Scouts.
Me too. I did Girl Scouts from kindergarten to senior year of high school.
Wow, I was only in brownies and then I quit.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that, but
mm-hmm.
yeah. These are different type of brownies.
Yeah.
They're pretty similar to the hobgoblins. They're house fairies that do odd jobs around the house, and they wear rags or no clothes, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If offered clothes, they leave, and they also will turn into bogarts if they're offended. But these ones are like this. It's basically the Scottish version of hobgoblins, because hobgoblins are English.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. And they're also more peacekeeping and less like practical jokers.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Those are cool.
Yeah.
I like brownies.
Yeah. And this, honestly, this kind of creeped me out when I found this. That people back in the day, they would have a brownie room. Like,
Oh.
they would have a spare room
Uh-uh.
made just for the brownie to like live in.
Okay, no. That's creepy. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah. They would like give them stuff in that room so like they would like them and behave and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't turn into a bogart. And there's like rumors of people going into the brownie rooms and like seeing a little guy lounging on the bed,
That is so
just hanging
creepy.
out. I know, it is pretty creepy. Because it's like just a spare room that nobody would go in really, except to just put stuff in there.
No, that's literally sickening, actually. Now, the more that I'm thinking about it, like, oh no.
Yeah,
I
I
would
know,
never
it's
have one
really
of those.
creepy. Yeah, it was like a thing in Scotland.
Wild.
So yeah. Um, okay, so let's get to the bogarts.
Yes,
Like
I'm
I said,
excited
we
to
were
know.
gonna go over those. So these are hairy little creatures, obviously.
Obviously.
um, House fairies turned evil, and they can actually be an omen of death,
Oh.
which is kind of scary.
Oh, good.
They're unpredictable, mean, and can be dangerous.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
But if you apologize, like sometimes they'll forgive you and turn back into a good house fairy.
Oh. Sometimes.
Or, yeah, sometimes. It just really depends. I guess it depends on, like, how bad you offended them or
Yeah,
something.
that's actually funny.
Yeah. I mean, me too, you know.
Yeah, literally.
Or sometimes, like, an act of kindness will bring them back. Or sometimes nothing can be done and they'll never turn back.
Yikes. A big
They'll,
yikes.
like, yeah, they'll, like, always be evil. So, oop.
So when they're evil, can you just give them clothes and they leave?
Honestly, that's a good idea. I think that could work, actually.
Well, then that sounds pretty easy of a fix to
Yeah,
me.
right. But another thing you can do is just like move to a new house.
Okay, well, that's a lot of work.
Right. And also, they could follow you. So it's
Okay.
not guaranteed.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. So yeah, honestly, I don't know what I would do in that situation. It's
No,
just
me
like,
neither. Hopefully, I'll never be in that situation. So,
it kind of reminds me of like being haunted, you know?
I mean, basically, that's what it is. Just, but not a ghost; it's a creature.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like ghosts can be good or bad too, so it's like the
Yeah.
same type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there are also like other types of Bogarts, like these evil versions.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these names are funny. They're all funny. Let me just say that. There's Bogles, and they sometimes can be seen, but they make you. Oh, sorry. They sometimes can't be seen. So like
Oh.
sometimes they go invisible, and they can like make you feel like a sense of dread.
Oh no. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
And they also do evil things like at the expense of liars and murderers. So
Oh.
like if you're a good person, they're not gonna like hurt you. But if you're evil,
I mean, that makes sense morally, you know.
yeah, so that's good. Like these ones seem like they're not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's also buggers.
Bogas.
They're
Yes.
so funny. And they shapeshift.
Oh, into what?
Like anything, I guess.
Oh, cool.
Didn't really
I
specify.
wish I could do that.
I know. You're gonna turn into a bugger.
Yeah.
And there are bogans, and they play tricks on you.
Ooh. I love a good
Um,
prankster.
yeah, exactly. And there are dobbies,
Oh, that's my favorite
which
one.
you would probably know from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is
But
that?
kind of I mean, I honestly you can sort of say that Dobby is a hobgoblin type being.
Yeah, like he
Um,
literally is a hobgoblin.
because he does
He
like odd jobs around the
and
house,
he
and then
wears the
when
like holy clothes with like
mm-hmm,
a literal rag.
mm-hmm. And then once he was given clothes,
He
he was given like a
left.
sock and he left. So,
Oh wait, he literally is a hobgoblin.
yeah.
Wait, I'm kind of shook about that right now, but
Yeah. Except in like the movies of Harry Potter, like he's bigger than one would be. You
well,
know,
he's
like
still pretty little though.
yeah, he is, but like hobgoblins are like tiny little
Yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but Dobbies in like the folklore, they like help workmen at their tasks. But they're so dumb that they don't actually help.
Oh no.
And they like slow down progress.
Yeah, that's actually really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And there's also goblins and ghouls, but I don't really have anything about them. But,
Yeah, you know,
just
just goblins and ghouls
yeah, you know those names, so
for
just had to
sure.
throw them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I also have a little story here about some hobgoblins, sort of.
Okay, wait, before you get into that story, can I ask a question? So,
Yeah.
are hobgoblins only in Scotland, you said?
They're like England and Scotland.
Okay, well, I want to go there and see a hobgoblin.
I
Like,
know,
do I
honestly.
have to live there? Like, I'm
I don't
confused.
know. I think they might have. I mean, since it was so long ago when they started being a thing, like
Mm-hmm.
they maybe they did travel over to the US and like we just
Yeah.
don't really
They're
talk
just not
about them.
here. Yeah. True. Anyways, yeah, I was just curious.
But yeah, that's where they started at least. So this story goes way back before the 1500s too. So according to this story, they have been around since like the 1297
Oh,
is when this story
wow.
came.
Okay.
Yeah. So this story is of Yester Castle. And it is an ancient castle in Scotland. It was built before 1297 by Sir Hugo, who was a wizard and a necromancer.
Oh, okay.
You know, just typical.
Yeah, typical.
People say that he made a pact with the devil, but he could have honestly just been doing like magic without the devil, because you know people like to throw the devil into random
Oh, yeah.
things.
If any magic is involved, it's automatically the devil.
Yeah, exactly. But he was just doing some magic, you know. He actually like was fully outright and saying that he was a wizard, so he wasn't trying to hide it at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so my voice is getting a little scratchy here. I'm trying to.
I felt that.
Anyways, he used his magic to summon an army of goblins.
Oh, okay. I
An
want to
army of little
summon.
hobgoblins.
That's so funny. Okay, continue. I'm thinking about myself doing this and it's cracking me up.
I know, it is kind of funny. Like just seeing them all running
Yeah.
around. If you think about it. Okay, but he summoned an army of them to help build an underground hall of this castle. And it is rightly named Hobgoblin Hall. So it is all like currently like it's all in ruins right now, but there's still like a little bit remaining of this castle, and there's still like a staircase leading down to the hall. It's all like
No
made of
way.
stone. It's like I've seen pictures and like a little video of it. It's really cool.
Wow.
It could be cool to go to. But it's definitely like all in ruins, not really a full castle anymore or anything. But apparently it was all made by hobgoblins.
No way. The army of hobgoblins?
Yes. Yep.
Wow, that's really cool. I want to go there, even if it is ruins.
Yeah, like they like built this little thing. And I do have a little story about what happened at this castle.
Okay.
Well, this is more about Sir Hugo. Okay, so this is the story of the Colston pair. So the Wizard of Yester, Sir Hugo, his daughter was going to be married, and he gave the couple a pear, like the fruit.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say the fruit.
Yes, the fruit, and told them to keep it safe. If anything happened to this pair, disaster would come to the family, right?
Oh no.
So they kept the pair safe, and they were prosperous, like they were fine. Everything was great with the family and everything. And a few hundred years actually passed, right? And the pair was still in the family, and it looked just as it did when it was picked.
How? Magic.
Magic. And on her wedding night, the fiance of like somebody in the family named George, so his fiance bit into the pear.
No.
She says that she couldn't help herself because it looks so good. Right.
Girl. Okay, what?
I know. And it immediately turned into rock.
Rock.
Yes, turned into rock, and it is still in the house today with a bite mark. Legend has it, anyways.
Whoa. I would love to see if
And
that's true.
I know, right? Like go see like this stone pear. But after she did that, misfortune quickly followed.
No.
George went into debt from gambling, and
Yikes.
they had to sell the estate to his brother. And his brother and his two sons, they were like on the way to the estate, and they were killed by a flood.
Stop. A flood?
Yes.
I thought you were going to say like a car accident.
No, literally a flood.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some, I guess, a little bit of proof that he was an actual wizard.
Yeah, I
He had
mean,
a
that's
pair.
proof enough to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that story is a little crazy. I
Mm-hmm.
love it though. I would love to see if they have that pair somewhere.
I really would love to see the pair.
I do have a little bit more just like listed out characters in like video games and stuff are
Mm-hmm.
hobgoblins. So they're obviously associated creatures like that are shown in video games and movies, like, you know, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Harry Potter, all those
Mm-hmm.
types of things show hobgoblins. But they honestly do look way different from the original, you know, because
Yeah.
they look more like actual creatures, like weird creatures,
Mm-hmm.
but they were meant to be like these normal little, they just look like little people,
Oh, okay.
you
I
know?
see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's really, I don't like that. I would rather them almost look like a creature.
Oh, well, like in real life, yeah, the stories are like, they look like people.
That's creepy.
So that's the real version anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, over time they've become these creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think more of the fantasy version in story in like movies and stuff paint them as the Bogart version,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because they're
Yeah, I would
more of
definitely say
like
so.
a creature, scaly,
Mm-hmm.
ugly.
Stinky.
Yeah, and they're like slightly bigger
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So yes, that is the story of the hobgoblins.
I honestly, I even love the bad hobgoblins, the Bogarts. So, like, they're cute
Yeah,
and funny. Like, I think it's funny to be pranks, like a little prankster.
I know.
I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
as
want it
long
to
as they're
happen to me, but like, it's still funny.
right, as long as they're not too mad at you,
Yeah,
you know.
very accurate. Um, okay, well, I suppose we could just move it along. I was just thinking, as you were wrapping up your story, I think this is the first week, like, our stories have nothing to do with one another.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
okay.
we're really flipping the script on this one.
That's okay.
Today, yeah,
There's
no,
a first for everything.
of course. Um, so I'm just gonna tell you what it is. Today,
Okay.
I am covering the legend of the Eastern State Penitentiary. Me and
Oh
Savannah
my
have been
god.
talking about who is going to cover this case for so long because she's from Philly. So shout out to you.
Why do I feel like I already did I not already do this one?
No, no,
Okay.
no. You definitely did not.
Yeah, we have been fighting over it though.
Yeah, we have. So too bad I won because guess what? I did it. So, but I have been so interested in the Eastern State Penitentiary for so long. I remember it was like on the very first like ghost show that I ever watched. It was like they were investigating the Eastern State Penitentiary. So I've always wanted to cover it, so here I am. Anyways,
I'm excited
yes. So
because I've definitely like seen it. I've
I
walked
was gonna
past it and
ask,
stuff, but never really ventured much farther. So
but you've seen like the outside of it.
yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. They have like tours like daily now you can go in and see. So I think we should definitely do that when we go to Philly.
Yeah.
Savannah.
Yeah, definitely. I know,
Definitely.
it would be really cool to go to.
So anyways, let's get into some history first. So the penitentiary was in operation from 1829 to 1971. So kind of a long time back in the day. The infamous Al Capone and bank robber Willie Sutton were just like two of the inmates who served time there. And throwback to my Alcatraz episode that I did, Al Capone was also in prison there. So it's interesting to know that he was incarcerated, like not only in one of the most haunted prisons, but two of America's most haunted
Oh
prisons.
my God. Yeah, see,
Like that's actually
that's
crazy.
that's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
and I'll get into
No,
more of his ghost stories later because he has some, which is crazy.
that's probably what I was thinking of though when I said, did we already do this one?
Yeah,
No,
it's
yeah,
no,
that's
it's
probably
very
what it
similar.
was.
It is very similar.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to the Alcatraz episode, you definitely want to listen to that too. But we'll have to decide which one we think is haunted because more haunted. Because I think Eastern State Penitentiary is personally.
Honestly, I mean, you haven't even gotten into it yet, and I want to say it is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep. So, um, so the reason that Al Capone was in Eastern State Penitentiary is because he had stopped in Philly while traveling from Atlantic City back to his home in Chicago in May of 1929 when he was arrested outside of a movie theater for carrying a concealed, unlicensed 38 caliber revolver.
yeah.
Okay? So,
Yeah, see, honestly, that's how you had to catch them back in the day because,
exactly.
like, they wouldn't get caught on, like, the biggest things, but then the
The
small
smallest
things that
little.
you don't think about,
Mm-hmm.
they get caught for.
Yep. Yep. So, and the Philly courts obviously knew who he was, so they were super like tough on him. So he got the maximum sentence for 1 year in prison for that crime. So
One
he,
year.
yeah, I mean that's kind of a lot for having a
Yeah,
gun.
that's true. That's true.
So, he ended up only serving 7 months, but still that's a long time. So, Philly newspapers said that although the courts were tough on him, the prison was like absolutely not at all. His cell always had fine furniture, beautiful rugs, paintings, and a fancy radio.
See, what? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get special treatment like that in
Right,
prison?
right.
I feel like
And
that does not happen nowadays. They
oh,
don't let you do
it
that.
definitely does not. And there will be pictures on Instagram of his cell because it literally just looks like a little room, like a little college dorm. Like he was straight up chilling in this prison.
See,
Like,
I don't understand.
no, me
I mean,
either.
I'm really like, I don't like how prisoners are treated nowadays, but also
Definitely.
like the difference is just
It
crazy.
is literally insane. It's
How
horrible.
you could get that good of treatment and then nowadays, like, they would not.
Yep. Well,
Like,
the thing is, although Al Capone got that treatment, everybody else in this prison got the absolute worst. And I'll definitely
yeah,
get into that in a minute. But
yeah.
before that, so when Eastern State Penitentiary was completed, it was the largest and most expensive public structure ever made in the US at the time. So that's crazy because I did not know that. And so actually, it was literally like after they made this prison, it was actually a model for over 300 other prisons in America. So like the way that it was like made, and I didn't get really into that because kind of boring, but the way it was made, it was like everyone could be seen at all times by somebody. So to
Oh,
kind of help
yeah.
them be like better behaved in
Yeah.
prison. Anyway, so yeah. So there are over 300 prisons that look exactly like that in the US, which is also pretty
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
Yes, and
What year did you say it was built?
it was like built in 1821, but it opened in 1829.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense that they would be like based off of something
Yeah, definitely.
because, before a lot of them were built, so.
Yes. So today the prison is a US National Historic Landmark, and that means, it's open to the public as a museum all the time. I don't know about COVID, but yeah, you can just go there whenever. And also, fun fact that this prison was one of the largest public work projects for Philly, and now it's just like one of the most popular tourist destinations. So cool and fun and fresh, and I really want to go there. So, and we will go there. So don't you worry about that. And hopefully
Oh,
we'll have
I
an
know.
update that I saw a ghost or
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
crazy.
that would be cool.
Yes. But Now we're going to get into the torture, and I'm just going to do a quick trigger warning. This is going to be bad and disgusting, but Savannah, you're the only one that doesn't have a choice to listen to it, so.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Let's do it.
Yep. So, this penitentiary specifically was intended, like they literally said, like in their little mission statement or whatever, it was intended to not simply punish, but to move the criminal towards spiritual reflection and change. Like, quoted, that's what they said. And at the time, the prison was rumored to be Quaker inspired, like ran by the Quaker religion or whatever. But there's little evidence to actually support like that it's true. But people, but I think it is true, actually. Like there's like, I don't know. I didn't really get deep into that either, but I think it's true. But in reality, like that spiritual reflection and change did absolutely not happen, and it was like one of the most brutal prisons you could have been in. They did some really, really bad stuff. Yeah. So the people who like actually physically made the prison, designed it to have a variety of physical and psychological torture regimens all throughout the prison. So even before it was open, they were already having like bad vibes, bad thoughts, you know?
Yeah, see, that just sounds awful. Like physical and psychological.
Yeah.
Like just to hurt you forever.
Literally, yes. So now I'm going to get into some of these methods, and some of them are very bad. Just had to reiterate that for those out there.
Oh, no. Okay.
One of the most famous torture methods that happened here was when they would douse prisoners in freezing water outside during the winter months. And this is Philly, so it's cold. And they would chain their tongues to their wrist in a way that, like, when they were struggling and trying to get unchained, their tongue would, like, rip off. Because, you know, it was, like, stuck to it because it's winter. And they had water.
My God.
So, like, their tongue would literally rip off. Like, a part of it.
Oh my God. No, I can't even think about that.
No,
That's
I know.
just so
We're moving
awful.
on. We're moving on, but guess what? We're not moving on to anything better.
It's like you can't taste, but also like
And you
not
probably
just from
can't
COVID,
talk, you know? Right. But like, you also probably can't talk, at least not the way that you used to.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my God, wait, that reminds me of like the Hunger Games, the Capitol taking your tongue out.
Oh yeah. Ew. That's exactly, and this is like real. Ugh. So gross. Let's see here. They would also obviously, you know, tie the prisoners to each other for days on end, no food. I think the absolute worst psychological punishment was, and physical, honestly, this one's like pretty bad. The prisoners were, whenever they were bad or whenever anybody felt like it, they were thrown into a pit that they called the hole, which was literally an underground cell block that was like dug out. Like they cracked the floor up and dug underneath it. And it was literally a hole in the ground. And they would throw like a guy in there, and they would have no light, no human contact, and no food. And they would just be in a dark, wet hole in the ground.
Oh my God. That is like the worst torture.
I know. Like what? And they were also like probably cramped because it's like a tiny hole in the ground. Like I cannot imagine that. Literally at all. And like I know we talk about like all the prisons and mental asylums that we've talked about on here, like how horrible conditions are, but like this is like serious abuse. And they ended up getting in trouble for it later, obviously. But
right, it's like who even thinks of this stuff?
Right, like I feel like the people doing this should be in prison just the same as anybody else, because that is like absolutely horrible.
Because that's just inhumane torture.
Exactly. And the worst part of it is that after like the first couple years of it being open, it became like a rule that inmates had to spend a minimum of 2 years there. So it became very, very overcrowded, which is like also crazy because they just wanted them to torture longer.
Yeah.
Which is awful.
Yeah, like what's the point of having them there for 2 years or longer?
Exactly.
Just so that they could get, like, that's how long it takes for the torture to set in. Like, I don't
like that's going to change them in any way. Like, what? That's just traumatizing them. So another torture method was a water bath, but not just any water bath. They would dunk the inmates in, freezing cold water, and then they would take them outside and hang them on a wall. Not like hang them, kill them, but just like hang them out on a wall until ice would form all over their skin and they would be frozen.
Oh my
Not to death,
God.
just like frozen. So,
See, these like guards and whoever was actually doing this, like they have to be evil people
so
too.
demented.
Like I
Like,
don't
so
understand.
insane. I could not ever imagine doing this to anybody.
Right.
Even my worst
What?
enemy. Like, absolutely not.
And would they do this to just like anyone, or
Yeah, to
if you're just
anyone.
minding your own business, you
Yeah.
don't get tortured?
No, like if they felt like it, they did it. Like,
Jeez.
it's really bad. Another torture device was called the mad chair. And that's when the inmate would be bound so tightly that their circulation was cut off, like to a chair. And it actually caused them to all have to have whatever part of their body was bound to be amputated off their body because the blood circulation they were like tied to the chair for so long that it did permanent damage.
Oh
And then
no.
they had to be amputated. Like whether it be an arm or a leg, they just changed it up whatever they felt like doing.
Oh my God, that has to be like
Yeah.
insane for that to happen. Like, doesn't that take so much
Yeah.
to be to have to be
Yeah.
amputated?
Mhm.
Like,
Like I
I'm just thinking
cannot.
about how like my leg was just asleep for like 10
Right.
minutes.
And
I'm
that how
like,
bad that hurts. Like can you
right.
imagine? No. Absolutely
Oh
not.
my God.
So this is the last torture device. Thank goodness. And this is the infamous iron gag. And I'm sure y'all have heard about this because this one's super well known, but that is where the inmates' hands were tied behind their back and then they strapped an iron collar into the mouth. So like whenever they moved, like even like a hair, it would cause the tongue to tear off.
Why are they so obsessed with
I
trying to take your
don't,
tongue out?
I literally do not know. I don't know, but it's
Just
so
because
sick.
they don't want you to talk?
I'm assuming, but that's like literally sick. So, as we can tell, the inmates clearly suffered here, like bad, like
Yeah.
very, very, very bad. So it's not a shock to hear that a lot of these people died from this, like the amputation surgery is going wrong or freezing to death literally outside when you're being hung up. Like,
Hmm.
so yeah. So according to many sources, like this is the most haunted prison in America. And, obviously they say it's a toss up between this and Alcatraz, but I don't know. I just really feel like this one might be worse. But
Yeah. This one seems pretty bad.
yeah, it's pretty bad. So let's get into the juicy, the haunting.
Hmm.
So this Eastern State Penitentiary has been featured literally on every single haunting TV show. As I said, it was the first ghost show I ever watched was on the Eastern State Penitentiary. And so obviously hundreds, if not thousands of paranormal like encounters have been reported from visitors, but the most convincing that I would say, like the stories, are from the experiences by the staff, guards, and the inmates because they've all like been corroborated by each other, and like even the guards and inmates will agree, like yes, like that happened. So like I don't know, that's really believable to me anyway.
Hmm.
So cell block 12 is known for echoing voices and cackling laughter.
Ew.
Disgusting. Like that is so creepy, so creepy. Cell block 6 is known for people seeing shadowy figures like darting along the walls.
Oh my
Creepy.
God. Yeah, these are
And
all creepy.
yeah, and even more creepy, cell block 4 is known for seeing people seeing ghost faces on the walls. Like that's very common. Like
Like
there's
specific faces? Or.
yes, like specific faces. Like
Oh no.
that is just so
Do
that just
they
sounds
do
like a
they know of
nightmare.
who?
No, just like I mean, how could you describe it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But because they're not like captured on camera, people just see them.
Okay, yeah.
So people have even reported seeing a silhouette of like a guard in one of the towers, which, whatever. But here's the thing. The stairs to get up to the tower crumbled apart like 10, 20 years ago. So there's literally no possible way for a human being to get up to the tower without like a fire truck ladder because the stairs are gone. And so yet people still to this day see a man standing in the tower sometimes. Like the silhouette of a tower, silhouette of a man. So
That's crazy.
that's like seriously crazy because like it could not be a person. People can't get up there.
Right,
Insane.
like, oh my god.
Literally insane.
I don't know what I would do if I saw somebody up somewhere that, like, nobody can get up
I
there.
would freak out. I would be like, there is no way that I'm seeing this with my eyeballs.
Exactly, yeah.
But people do. One of the most famous ghost stories that comes from Eastern State Penitentiary comes from this man named Gary Johnson. Very typical name, but
Yep.
Gary. He actually helped maintain the locks at the prison, which at first I was like, what a job to be a lock man. But actually, locksmiths are very important, and especially at a prison. So actually, it makes complete sense. Anyways, so in the early 1990s, Gary had just like opened like an old lock in cell block 4. And he said that like the second he unlocked the lock, that a force like gripped him so tightly that he was unable to move. But like nobody was there.
Oh my
But like he literally
god.
couldn't move. And so he described just like a really bad negative energy coming from the cell. And then he saw like 2 tormented faces appear on the wall, on the cell wall. Yeah.
That's, oh my god.
So then obviously he like ran
That's
out of
so,
there as soon as he could. So that's extremely scary. Because also like cell block 4, is known for whatever I said it was known for. Oh yeah, seeing the ghostly faces. So that was just proof of it right there. That he saw those faces. So yeah, my man
that's
Gary
so,
had a really spook magooked. I would not want to be like, I can't imagine like walking into somewhere haunted and feel a force like grab me so tightly that I can't move.
right, like, I'm trying to imagine that, and it's just,
Like I can't
I
even.
can't.
I know. Another very common ghost to see is the apparition of a mysterious woman that is actually spotted so often that the employees have named her the Soap Lady. And I tried so hard to find why they named her the Soap Lady, and I
Right.
couldn't. So I have no idea why she's named the Soap Lady, but she apparently wears all white and she sits in the last cell on the second floor, which is very
Okay.
interesting because when the prison was opened, the second floor was actually the woman's cell block. So like that was literally probably just her cell, and
Oh.
like she was just chilling in it. So that's also crazy to me.
Yeah, it makes it even crazier that a lot of these, like, most of these ghosts were there for more than 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like this was their home for a good while.
Yeah, for like a hot minute. Like it's so wild. Okay, so I mentioned that Al Capone was an inmate here, and now we know, if you're a loyal follower of the podcast, as I mentioned above, that the ghost of Al Capone has been seen countless times at Alcatraz prison, and because he spent time there, and so there are really no reports of Al Capone's ghost himself at Eastern State Penitentiary, but when he was serving time here, Al Capone himself was tortured by a ghost, which I actually never heard about. So this was like really cool. But apparently, while he was an inmate there, even though he was in his very nice and lavish cell, which I would not even call a cell, I would call a dorm room, he
Right.
was known to like let out blood curdling screams in the darkness of night, like just in the middle of the night, begging for somebody named Jimmy to leave him alone.
Oh my
And
god.
people would be like, "Yo, Al, calm down," and then he'd be like, "Jimmy, leave me alone."
Oh my god. Even though his room was all fancy and everything, he's like, I'm still suffering here.
Yes, yes. And so actually, after studying like inmates at the time, and just what was going on in Al Capone's life, because obviously he's a huge character, they think that like Jimmy, the ghost, may have been the spirit of this guy named Jimmy Clark, who was actually one of the men that was killed by Al Capone's execution order in the St. Valentine's Massacre. So, like, basically, Al Capone literally murdered him. He, like, ordered the murder on him.
Oh my God, that would make
And
sense.
so, obviously, if somebody ordered a murder on me, I would also go hunt them and torture them.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
that makes sense to me, which is funny. So, but after Al Capone was released from Eastern State Penitentiary, he claims that the spirit actually followed him and tortured him to the point, literally, that Al Capone hired like multiple mediums to try to get him to like move on or, whatever. And apparently none of that worked. So, yeah,
Jeez. See, and the fact that like he probably put hits on like so many other people too.
exactly. Like, I
But
wonder
like
how many
this
people
one,
are actually haunting him, because probably a lot.
I mean, true, but it just seems like this one stuck for some reason
Yeah,
and
he
no
was
other
hurt.
ones really
Yeah, I
did.
wonder why.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Huh.
Um, so, that's pretty much all about Al Capone. So, but last, but certainly, not least, we have the ghost of Pep the dog.
Pep the dog.
Pep the
I love
dog.
that.
Yes. Well, Pep the dog is known as the cat murdering dog.
Oh my God.
So, but it's not all as it seems. Or is it? We'll see. Um, so actually at the time, apparently it was like kind of normal to have animals like in prisons, which I didn't really know that either. But
Yeah, I actually heard about that before. It was like they used to have like a program where inmates could get like pets.
well, that's cool because honestly, I think
Mm-hmm.
that could work. But yeah, so that was going on, and so actually, multiple animals lived and worked at Eastern State Penitentiary. And
Mm-hmm.
in 1924, they wanted to raise the morale of the prison because of the overcrowding and the harsh punishments. Because this is 1924, so that's like 100 years later, and that's when they were starting to get in trouble for like all of
Okay.
the harsh punishments that they were giving on people. So they
Yeah.
were trying to become better,
Yeah.
thankfully, and so they were like, yeah, maybe like bringing animals could help the inmates. So on August 31st, 1924, Pep was brought into the prison. They took his mugshot. They gave him an inmate number, and his name was officially entered into the prisoner index of Eastern State
Oh my
Penitentiary.
God.
So also peep the
What?
Instagram for his mugshot because it's super cute. um,
That's oh my God.
like it's
Wait, but
so
he didn't do
funny.
anything evil. Like, why is
So,
he an inmate?
so he was sentenced to life in prison for murder.
No, he was
He
not.
absolutely was. That's
What did he
absolutely,
do?
like, literally in the index, that's what it says. Like, literally, he was charged with murder. So, Pep was actually the dog of Governor Pinchot, I think it's how you say, not sure, who was the governor at the time. And he, the governor, had heard of other prisons taking in animals, and he had the idea of donating his dog Pep to the prison as like a help animal because apparently Pep did murder one of his wife's cats that they had as a pet.
Oh my God.
Like, so apparently he actually is a cat murderer, and she was kind of like,
Okay.
he needs to leave, but obviously he was like, I mean, I kind of like Pep, so he was like, maybe it's a good change for him, I mean, I
Right.
think it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So he decided to move Pep to the prison, and that's how we have gotten here to the dog inmate. um, yeah, so, but as you can imagine, people were really mad about, giving the governor giving his dog to the prison. It's kind of a bad look for a governor. So, Pep spent 2 years at Eastern State Penitentiary and then was eventually, quote, transferred to a farm where he spent the rest of his days. Yeah.
Okay. So he
But,
spent the minimum 2 years.
yeah, exactly. He spent the minimum and he popped out of there for murder.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, but people claim that they can see and hear a dog barking and running around the prison. And some people say that they've even, like, when they see him, it looks like Pep. So, is Pep's ghost still at the prison? Possibly.
Oh my
Like,
God.
maybe he liked the prison, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it probably was fun. And, like, that was probably the only entertainment that the inmates had. So, they probably played with him, like, nonstop.
Right. Like I'm thinking like it's probably such a great joy to have a dog around.
Exactly. Like,
And
they only bring me joy. Like, I can't
yeah,
imagine
so
how good it was for them.
And they were all probably so happy around him, so he was probably happy to be there, and yeah,
Exactly. Kind of beautiful in a
seems like
way.
such a great place. Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, that's kind of the end of the story. I just really think this place is super, super haunted. Like, it's honestly no doubt in my book that it's haunted. And actually, they in starting in like 2016, during Halloween in like October, they started to turn the prison into a haunted attraction. And it's actually known to be very, very, very scary, like a very scary haunt. That I would love to do because I think it would be so cool because, you know, it's scary intentionally because it's a haunt, but it's also
Yeah.
scary because it's haunted. So it's like double scary.
Yeah.
So
I know. I think I've heard of that before. I wonder if they have like a theme going on with like having Al Capone there and stuff.
I know. I mean,
That
probably.
could be cool.
That would be so cool. Like, I
But
think we should do it. But yeah, that's the story, the legend of the Eastern State Penitentiary.
yeah, that's awesome. Wow, we need to go visit. I'm surprised I haven't actually visited
No, we're
that
going. Like,
before.
I know we
You
say
know?
that, like, all the time we're going, but, like, this one we actually
Right.
are. Like, Savannah has
I know.
family and friends. Like, we're going to Philly.
Yeah,
So
I
I can
know.
promise you we will be going to Eastern State Penitentiary. Don't know
Yeah.
when, but it will happen.
Yeah,
Going out
definitely.
there.
Um, I wonder how much the tickets would be.
They're
I guess
not,
we have
they're
to
like
look all that up.
$25.
But... Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Let's see.
Very cheap. Yes, I looked it up. But
Okay.
definitely go check out our Instagram. You're definitely got to see Pep. Definitely got to see the prison
Oh,
and
I
Al
need to see
Capone's
Pep.
crazy cell. And I'm trying to
Yeah,
see Hobgoblins.
I know, little hobgoblins.
Absolutely. But
There's no real pictures. They're all,
well, of
adaptations,
course.
obviously, but
Yeah,
you
you
know.
know. But I love to see a good rendition of a Hobgoblin.
Do you think you have any in your house?
A Hobgoblin? Absolutely not, because my house is trashed. So if there is a Hobgoblin here, he's doing the absolute worst job
Yeah,
of
or
cleaning.
he's the evil version because
He's
you
the
didn't leave
Bogart.
him any food.
Honestly, I kind of feel like my Bogarts are just Juju and Poe.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm also laughing so hard that Poe decided to rip my rug underneath my door during that because he was so mad at
Yeah,
me.
yeah. He's like, I just want to hang out with
He's like,
you.
can I please?
Exactly. You're being
He's
so mean to
crazy.
him.
Crazy. But rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, please. I don't know. I guess that's kind of all we got for the week. What about you,
Yeah.
Savannah? Yep.
No, yeah. We'll be back at it next week.
All right. Well, see you next week.
All right. See ya. Cue the music.